Why did your dad leave? When I was 7, my dad disappeared without a single word. No note, no warning, nothing. I'd gone to bed after he helped me with a school project and woke up to my mom sitting at the kitchen table with puffy eyes and his phone in her hand, shaking her head and saying, "He's just gone." She reported it, filed a missing person report, called every hospital, every friend, and even his brother who lived out in Ohio, but it was like he'd been erased from the planet. Eventually, people assumed he'd run off. Midlife crisis, new woman, maybe couldn't handle being a dad anymore, but my mom never really bought that. She didn't say it out loud much, but I could tell she believed something darker had happened. Over the years, she did what she had to do. Picked up a second job, sold the house, did her best. But there was always this weird silence in the background of our life. I got older, started to accept that he was just gone forever, and built up this mix of anger and confusion I didn't know what to do with. Then, out of nowhere, when I was 16, he just showed up at my school. I was walking out after drama club and saw this older guy in a baseball cap just standing there, watching me like he was scared to move. At first, I thought he was a creeper until he called me by my childhood nickname, one no one else would know, and I stopped cold. I didn't say anything. I just stared. And then he started crying. Not little tears. Full-on sobs in the school parking lot. I told him he had 5 minutes to explain before I walked away forever. And what he told me, I still can't wrap my head around. He said he hadn't left us, not by choice. That he'd been hit by a car the night he disappeared while walking home from the gas station. He wasn't carrying ID because he'd just gone out to grab a soda. He got taken to a small hospital in the next county over, unconscious, head trauma, broken ribs, and when he woke up a few days later, he didn't remember his name. Not just who am I movie-style memory loss, but like genuinely wiped clean. They tried tracking his identity, but with no wallet, no phone, no fingerprints on record, and no one reporting a missing person in that county, they didn't connect the dots. And by the time someone finally guessed a name and entered it into a system, they matched him, incorrectly, to a guy in Minnesota with a similar build and appearance who'd also gone missing around that time. So they stuck him in a halfway house under that guy's name, thinking they'd found their man, and since his memory was still scrambled, he just went with it. He lived as David for nearly 9 years. He worked odd jobs, volunteered at a church, even had a roommate. Then a few months ago, he saw a news segment on missing persons updates, and they flashed his old high school photo. It was part of a cold cases thing. Something clicked. He said it wasn't instant, but something in his brain finally unlocked. He remembered my name first, then my mom's, then the kitchen wallpaper. He panicked, tracked us down, came back. He showed me the scars on his ribs, the outdated hospital ID, even brought paperwork from the group home where he'd been staying as David R. for nearly a decade. I didn't believe him at first. I was convinced it was some kind of scam or cruel joke, but then we took a paternity test, and yeah, it was him. I took him to my mom's work the next day. She thought it was a prank at first, laughed nervously, and then just dropped into her chair when she realized it was real. She kept whispering, "Oh my God," over and over while clutching the edge of her desk. I expected anger or tears, but mostly she was stunned, like her brain had to reboot. They talked all night. Neither of them slept. Now it's been about 6 months. He's living in our guest room. It's weird, not gonna lie. He's like this walking ghost from a version of my life that never happened, and we're trying to figure out if we're strangers or family or something in between. But the biggest twist? Last week he found a voicemail on an old email backup from the night he disappeared. A voicemail from my mom's brother, my uncle, threatening him. It turns out there had been a fight that night, not a physical one, but ugly words were exchanged, and my dad stormed out to cool off. If he hadn't left, he wouldn't have been walking alone, wouldn't have gotten hit, wouldn't have vanished. My mom had no idea, was horrified when she heard it. My uncle had never told her. He died 2 years ago, so we'll never know the full story. But now I live in this weird reality where a missed call, a stranger's identity, and a totally avoidable accident stole my dad for nearly a decade, and somehow I got him back.